We all know E.T. flopped, and the story of the buried cartridges is well documented, but the core reasons for this failure are often overlooked. E.T. failed due to a combination of corporate pressure, an incredibly expensive licensing deal, and a severely truncated development deadline that eliminated the possibility of playtesting. Today we're looking at whether E.T. deserved its reputation, or if it was simply the most visible failure during a broader industry collapse. We're going to do two things. First, break down the development and release timeline step by step. And second, examine the validity of the claim that E.T. single-handedly caused the 1983 video game crash. We'll also fact-check the numbers behind the famous Alamogordo burial. Atari dominated the highly profitable early 80s gaming market, as the market became saturated with new publishers and wildly inconsistent game quality. Retail shelf space became scarce. This led to a significant increase in unsold games being returned to publishers. The Atari 2600 port of Pac-Man is crucial context here. It sold very well, but received intense criticism for its poor quality compared to the arcade original. Atari shipped a highly anticipated title that severely disappointed players. This damaged consumer and retailer confidence just months before E.T.'s release. Following the massive success of the E.T. film, Atari secured the game rights. According to the Smithsonian, Atari's licensing deal was so expensive they needed around 4 million sales just to break even on that project. To capitalize on the hype, Atari mandated a holiday season release. Developer Howard Scott Warshaw was assigned the project with a brutal 5 to 5.5 week deadline from start to finish. This schedule left absolutely no time for adequate QA or playtesting. Warshaw already developed successful Atari titles, but the compressed timeline prevented him from observing real players interacting with the game and making necessary adjustments. The game's mechanics, particularly falling into and attempting to escape from pits, were highly frustrating. E.T. attempted complex adventure game logic on a system with minimal visual feedback because the rules were poorly communicated to the player. The design desperately required iterative playtesting that it never received. Atari manufactured an estimated 5 million E.T. cartridges, but sales are commonly cited around 1.5 million. This massive overproduction resulted in millions of unsold units sitting in warehouses. By early 1983, the trade press reported that retailers were demanding formal return policies from video games firms to protect themselves from this mounting dead inventory. E.T. is frequently cited as the primary cause of the 1983 video game crash. However, the crash was multi-causal, driven by market oversaturation, a drop in overall game quality, retail inventory issues, and aggressive price slashing across the industry. E.T. did not single-handedly kill video games. It was simply the most high-profile failure during a pre-existing industry collapse. The 1983 burial in Alamogordo, New Mexico, was confirmed in 2014 when the site was excavated. However, former Atari manager James Heller later clarified that the dump contained roughly 728,000 total cartridges and hardware units. It was a mix of various games and equipment, meaning the claim that Atari buried millions of ET cartridges is factually incorrect. Here's the final breakdown though. First, it failed as a product. The game shipped with confusing mechanics that punished the player, making for a highly negative consumer experience. Second, it did not cause the crash. The 1983 crash was driven by structural market issues that were already in motion before E.T. was released. Third, the business strategy was flawed. Atari required 4 million sales to break even on a game developed in 5 weeks. Management prioritized the strict holiday release window over delivering a functional, play-tested product, putting the developer in an impossible situation. E.T.'s failure was rooted in rushed development and unrealistic financial expectations, which later evolved into an exaggerated industry myth. Let me know in the comments if Warshaw had been given 1 extra month of development time. What's the first mechanical fix that you think he should have made? And if you want more historical breakdowns, let me know if I should cover the development of the 2600 port of Pac-Man next. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.